Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. Let's try and predict the starting 11 for the Spurs game. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget to check out our Advent calendar video this morning. Day 7, Matt Jarvis. Lovely Matt Jarvis, friend of the channel. All you need to do is just comment. You don't need to subscribe, but you don't need to be a Patreon, a member. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. You know, it's just anyone who subscribes to the channel. It's free, and commenting on that particular video, you get entered into a draw, which we draw the next day to win some lovely signed West Ham memorabilia. We've had 6 winners so far. Could you be lucky 7? Ludders, we've had Mo, Gary Crawford, loads of people have won already, and you could be the next one. All you got to do is comment on that Matt Jarvis video. But then tomorrow, day 8, I think it's McAvenny. He wore number 8 in his shirt, so there we go. Number 9, Alan Dickens. I think number 10 is Tony Cottee. Then I can't remember. Anyway, few short hours. We kick off at 3 Point Lane. And as always, we try and predict the 11. Now, from the David Moyes press conference yesterday, the only absentee at the moment, as we know of, or what he's been telling us, is Mikel Antonio. So, but we knew that wasn't going to. He'll be back probably mid to late December. In the next couple of weeks, he'll be back. And so, apart from that, everyone else seems to be in a clear bill of health. We know Kurt Zouma is back training as well. And obviously, the club have put a reward of £25,000 up for any information that leads to the arrest of the burglars at Kurt's house. So, yeah. Not a nice thing to be involved in, as everyone can imagine. So let's start. Let's have a go, shall we? Let's try and make a team. I think it's going to be quite easy. Am I going to get 100% today? I think I'm not far off. In goal, Josie Vanang. No, in goal, Areola. In it. Although, as I said, reports about Fabianski maybe against Newcastle in January would be quite interesting, but I don't think he's a non-starter. But he is our number 1, all good in the hood. Bar any last-minute training hiccups or people turning an ankle in the warm-up, I think it's pretty obvious the side we're going with. It will be Emerson on the left-hand side. Then it's alongside him will be Naif. And then I think Kurt comes back into the side. I think he's back in the side. I don't think Mavropanos. Obviously, he made a mistake, Mavropanos, against the Crystal Palace in the Crystal Palace game. So I've got a feeling that Kurt comes back in. And then Vladimir on the right-hand side. I think that's, as I said, maybe you might suggest maybe Mavropanos keeps his jersey for that game. But I've got a feeling that Zoom will be back inside the way more. Let me just put that. Let's just do that. Thank you. And let's just do this because just for my own sanity. Thank you. I think he starts. I think Zuma's back in the way Moyes speaks about him. He's back training and all that type of thing, and it's good for the lad and and yeah, he's back in. Although you see Mavropanos starting a couple of hours time. Just thinking pace. I mean, they're a pacey side, Spurs, aren't they? So you think Mav and Agard are more mobile than Agard and Zouma, but I just think Zouma has that experience. And so I think, there have been calls to go to a back 3, but I just can't see them changing it. They haven't changed it this season, really, so can't see them changing it now. And then hopefully, Alvarez stays there and just protects that back 4 because they need it. They need it. 3 clean sheets this season, and 3 of them have been in the cup competition. We had 1 clean sheet, I think, which been Sheffield United. Lucky, isn't it lucky we played Sheffield United? If I played Chris Wilder took over again, because they'd get something against us, wouldn't they? Chris Wilder loves the West Ham, loves getting stuff against West Ham, that's for sure. Then it's 4 across the midfield. We know what's going to happen. We know, despite the fact of our wishes, we know it's going to be Paqueta on the team sheet on the left-hand side, although we know he doesn't really play there. We know JWP comes in. We know that, let me drop in Tommy Souček. And we know probably Mohamed will go on the right-hand side. But I don't expect, and we got to do this again because otherwise my OCD kicks in. Top that and then distribute it evenly. Thank you very much. Now the issue, well, it's not really an issue, but we know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that sort of front three. Actually, let's do it like this. It's sort of a bit like this, really, isn't it? They sort of a little bit deeper. Actually, no, it's more like this. JWP is a lot. They're too big. The circles are too big. Only I would blame the circles. Hashtag blame the circles. So let's bring the centre backs. Let's bring the defence down a little bit. Let's bring Areola not that far. There we go. Let's put Alvarez like that. JWP sort of does a bit like that, doesn't he? Really? And then you have like Tommy Souček, and then you have like him here. You have him here, and then you have Jared there. So it's a bit narrow, let's be honest, but it's almost like that, isn't it? Really, during the game itself. I think he'll persist with the Bowen up front. Actually, Divine played for the under-21s on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night or Tuesday night. But that doesn't mean nothing. He'll be on the bench. I imagine he'll still be on the bench. You know, a lot of the under-21s will play, you know, in the morning and might be on the bench for the evening, you know. So I'm not really bothered about that. Obviously, he scored the 1-4-0, didn't they, against Matty Etherington's, was it Colchester? So, you know, away from home, they all scored, which was great. I think you probably see him come in on the bench. I think Danny will be on the bench. I think all the usual suspects will be on the bench. I don't think he'll drop anyone. I don't think, you know, there was calls. I can't remember whose video I was watching the other day, and they said he's got to drop someone with JWP or Alvarez. He isn't going to drop anyone. He's going to keep it like it is. And, you know, he's in even his press conference. If I've got the what he said. Let's find it. Where is it? Let's have a look at the press conference. When he was talking about the press conference, this is what he said. Oh, no, let's do it full screen. We need to be competitive and hard to beat. So he's going to really try and pack as many midfielders in as possible to make it hard to beat. Particularly, you know, Spurs, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be interesting to see, because actually I wouldn't be surprised if someone like, because you've got, yes, the last game, the Man City game, they actually brought off Gill and put on Højbjerg into the midfield. And I think what will happen is, I think Postecoglou will start the same as he did against the City in terms of that sort of three and the striker. And then if we're winning at midfield, he'll bring Højbjerg on. So there could be an opportunity to maybe impose ourselves. It's never going to happen. Impose ourselves in the first half, and you know, it might be too late by the time Højbjerg comes on. Or we might start with Højbjerg and just keep it a little bit tight. But we know that's not what he's going to do. We know he's more of an attacking type manager, plays very open style of football, which could play into our hands. You know, you'd almost get a situation where it's going to be, could even be a bit like that towards the end. That'd be quite nice, you know, and just, or it's more like that, really, isn't it? Sort of like that a little bit. You know, just move the grass, Russ. Just move the pitch. There's one way of doing it. So, you know, you're having like balls over the top, and the likes of, you know, Kudus, the likes of Bowen, the likes of Paqueta will be able to put in a good pass. You'll have, you know, again, pinging balls to the right hand side. You lose that ability to ping to the left hand side with Zuma in there rather than Mavropanos, but still, and you'll have Emerson pushing up, you know, pretty much as a left winger. And it does end up a little bit like a three at the back anyway, really, because you see Alvarez sort of drops into that middle slot, doesn't he? A little bit like that. He does that quite a lot. And then, so it is a little bit like a 4-3-3, a 4-3-4-3, but it's not. But it is a little bit like that. You got to think they'll have one focal point in terms of Son. And he'll probably have a fucking field day, won't he? He always does against West Ham. But anyway, that's the 11. In the formation, I do not know, but that is the 11. But let me know what you think. I think it's going to be pretty much the same, to be honest. What I think to what you think, to be honest. I know I'd love to see Divine come in. I'd love them to play, you know, maybe even like Kudus on the left, Bowen on the right. I'd love them to, you know, have Paqueta in the middle, probably not Tommy Sujek, have Divin in and play like, you know, I keep moving the bloody grass. You know, and have Paqueta and have, you know, that 3 there. I'd love it, but it's not going to happen, is it? We know it's not going to happen. We know Moyes is going to stick to his generals at the back. It's a centre back partnership he's had all the time. He'll have Alvarez being the holding. He'll have him on the left. He'll have him on the right. He'll have Kudus there, and he'll have Bowen up top. We know. Anyway, maybe we'll change it. Maybe go crazy. Yep, maybe. Or maybe if my auntie had bollocks, it'd be my uncle. On that bombshell, much love. Don't forget to tune into the pre-match and all that stuff. All the fun of the fair. And take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Keep the faith, my friends. And come on, you bloody irons.